All right, before I say anything, let's just watch this.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
Of course, there are princesses that it's necessary, like Mulan. She is a fighter. That's in her DNA. And Aurora is a fighter, but in a different way. I think there's a strength in her femininity and softness, and there's nothing wrong with her wanting to be a mother and be married and you know, my mom always wanted to be a mom, and I think there's a beauty in that.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Obviously, every girl wants to be a princess. I mean, ever since you're a kid, and a Disney princess and Cinderella, it's kind of, if I say it's like too much to really even believe, even though we're halfway through filming and it's all happening.
Disney is in full panic mode. Their latest live-action remake, Snow White, 2025, has gone from a fairy tale dream to an absolute nightmare, and now they're practically begging audiences to go see it.
Tickets! Tickets! Who needs tickets?
Seriously, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney execs started showing up at people's houses with free tickets and a legally binding contract to sit through the whole thing. So how did we get here? How did one of the most beloved stories in cinematic history turn into Disney's most desperate plea for attention? Well, let's break it down. First, let's talk numbers, because this movie's budget is the stuff of legends. Originally set to cost around $150 million, Disney, in all its infinite wisdom, poured even more money into last-minute reshoots, bringing the final price tag closer to $250 million. That's right, $250 million spent on a film that, according to early buzz, has all the excitement of a PowerPoint presentation about gender roles. The financials only get worse when you consider marketing. Disney's marketing budgets usually match or even exceed production costs. So, we're looking at a $400 to $500 million total investment. For context, that's enough money to build an actual castle, populate it with real dwarves, and still have enough left over to give everyone in the country a free Disney Plus subscription. So, how is Disney trying to salvage this impending box office train wreck? Let's take a look at their strategies to force people into theaters. Disney's first move: make Rachel Zegler stop talking.
Just stop it!
After months of trashing the original movie, dismissing Prince Charming as a creepy stalker.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
And promising a modern Snow White for modern audiences. Translation: a Snow White that has nothing to do with Snow White. The backlash was brutal. Zegler conveniently vanished from the public eye, only to resurface with pre-written, overly cheerful interviews.
Yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, it probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off old Disney fans, pissing off new Disney fans, pissing off Trump supporters, pissing off all of America.
You're very pretty, very attractive, but an ugly personality. And that's what turned us off, because you thought it was about you, not about the parents, not about the kids, not about the character, not about a brand Disney that's been around for decades, and you just came up and they're hiring you. And no, they're going to come watch me because of me.
Suddenly expressing her deep love for the 1937 film. Because nothing screams authentic like a PR-mandated apology tour. Since actual excitement for Snow White 2025 is about as real as Cinderella's pumpkin carriage, Disney had to get creative. They've flooded social media with fake hype, encouraging influencers to give it a chance. while quietly deleting negative comments faster than you can say bibbidi bobbidi boo. And if that wasn't bad enough, they're reportedly buying out their own showings to inflate early ticket sales. Remember when they did this for the Marvels? It didn't help then, and it won't help now. Disney is leveraging everything they own to shove Snow White down your throat. Expect Disney Plus to accidentally remove the original 1937 Snow White, making the remake your only option. Expect Disney parks to double down on Snow White attractions, hoping to trick kids into caring. Expect bundled ticket deals with Frozen 3 teasers attached, because at this point they're using Elsa as ransom. Rotten Tomatoes scores. Oh, Disney has those on speed dial. Expect a suspiciously high critic score, while audience reviews mysteriously disappear or get flagged as review bombing. Because, according to Disney, if you don't like their movie, it's not because they made a bad movie, it's because you're the problem.
Okay.
What should Disney have done instead? Let's be real. The problem isn't that people hate Snow White. The problem is that people hate what Disney did to Snow White. They could have done so many things differently, like Cinderella, 2015, or The Jungle Book, 2016, both of which stayed faithful to the originals and were massive successes. Better casting. Instead of hiring an actress who clearly despised the role, maybe go with someone who actually loves the character. Good storytelling over forced messaging. People go to the movies for stories, not moral lectures disguised as entertainment. Lower the budget. Maybe, just maybe, you don't need $250 million for a remake of a film that was originally hand-drawn on a shoestring budget in the 1930s. So where does this leave Snow White, 2025? Well, early projections are grim, with the Little Mermaid barely making a profit. Despite having a way bigger built-in fan base, Snow White is shaping up to be a record-breaking flop. If Disney is lucky, it might scrape together $300 million globally, which sounds like a lot until you remember they need $600 million just to break even.
We fucked up.
And that's if people show up.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Which, judging by the current buzz, they won't. So, what happens after Snow White, 2025, inevitably bombs? Well, Disney has two choices. One, blame the audience, call everyone bigoted trolls, and continue making billion-dollar mistakes. Two, actually learn from this mess, stop remaking classics nobody wants, and start making original, high-quality films again. Which one do you think they'll choose? Yeah, that's what I thought. At this point, Snow White, 2025, isn't just a remake, it's a cautionary tale, a lesson in what happens when a studio loses sight of what made its films magical in the first place. Instead of celebrating timeless stories, they're warping them beyond recognition and then acting shocked when audiences don't show up. So, congratulations, Disney. You didn't just remake Snow White. You turned it into an act of charity just to get people to watch it. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You've survived Disney's latest marketing onslaught. Like, share, and subscribe, or don't. But whatever you do, just remember, some fairy tales are better left untouched.